Oh, happy days when Jesus walked. Oh, when he walked. Those were the days.
So now the Houthis are attacking ships that they see as supporting Israel, right? So the Houthis in Yemen. And now, so we've been trying to attack them back, meaning the United States. So now Russian warships are entering the Red Sea amid Houthi attacks. A group of warships from Russia's Pacific Fleet have crossed the Bab al Mandeb Strait and have entered the Red Sea. Russian state media reported that it is crowded with ships from Western navies, which are looking to protect commercial ships from the attack launched by the Iran aligned Houthis in Yemen. The Russian detachment included missile cruiser. And let's just remind everybody, how did Iran get to have the government that they have? Why do they have a theocracy run by, well, it's because they had a democracy and the CIA overthrew them in 1953. Mossadegh. They overthrew him. Why? Because he wanted to keep his oil for his own people. That's why. And then we installed a puppet that the people hated, an oppressive dictator called the Shah. And then they revolted against him 20 years later. And that's how you got the Ayatollah Khomeini.
And we put him in too.
The Russian detachment, blah, 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 blah. Please says clarifying the reason, except that the warships came from the Gulf of Aden, where they had drills on various scenarios and actions of mock enemy. Warships were carrying out a long-distance sea campaign, Russian news agency reported, citing Russian Pacific Police press service. Tensions in the region have been high since earlier this year, when the Houthis intensified attacks on commercial vessels crossing the Bab al-Mandeb Strait and route to and from the Red Sea, forcing many ship owners and operators to suspend the Suez Canal Red Sea route for transporting goods from Europe to Asia and vice versa. Just this weekend, Houthi forces struck a tanker owned by and operated by the company based in Hong Kong, the U.S. Central Command has reported, calling the vessel Chinese. The Huangpu, which was sailing under a Panamanian flag, was targeted with 5 anti-ship missiles on Saturday, CENTCOM said. So this is all shit you're getting from American military, all the news. The ship sent a distress signal, but did not ask for assistance. What? That's what the U.S. Naval Institute cited Central Command. The maritime transport disruption due to the attacks is diverting ships' traffic along the longer route between Asia and Europe via Africa, pushing global demand for oil higher and tightening inventories. Hey, here's another related story. Putin threatens to attack Western air bases hosting Ukrainian F-16s. Really? Is that real? Well, this week, Russian President Vladimir Putin visited Torzhok Air Base in Tver region, which hosts the 344th Training Center for Russian combat pilots. Some or many of these aviators who will likely go on to fly missions in Ukraine. In an address to the pilots, Putin referenced accusations frequently voiced by Western leaders that he intends to expand the war in Ukraine by attacking NATO and other European missions in Ukraine. In an address to the pilots, Putin referenced accusations frequently voiced by Western leaders that he intends to expand the war in Ukraine by attacking NATO and other European countries. I'll declare nonsense, because it is. But he went on to issue a warning about U.S.-made F-16 fighter jets, describing that U.S. satellites in Eastern Europe, for example, Poland, have no reason to be afraid. Putin's this I get. This is the domino theory. They always do this. Oh, if we don't stop the communists in Vietnam, it's going to take over the whole of Asia, Southeast Asia. It's going to come, and it'll eventually get here. It's a domino theory. They never stop doing it. And this is it again. Oh, if Putin gets his way in Ukraine, then he's going to go into Poland. He's going to go into Germany. By the way, that's not true.
Not true.
The claims that we are going to attack Europe after Ukraine is utter nonsense and intimidation of their own population just to beat the money out of them. That's exactly right. So they're scaring people that Russia is going to go invade.
There's a reason that nobody and the Republican Party cares that the Republican-controlled Congress isn't making any policy say. There's a reason nobody knows what Donald Trump's policy is on Gaza say. There's a reason nobody in the Republican Party is contesting what's going on with Joe Biden, because they have a different idea for what we should be doing on infrastructure. There's just no governing talk happening at all in the Republican Party. It's instead about this idea that America is a disaster. America's in decline. America's being laughed at. America is humiliated. And there must be extreme measures taken to fundamentally change the course of the country, or we're all going to die. Those are just two different things. And what that latter thing is, the reason you've been doing this series on autocracy is not the project of a governing party. It's a project of a party that is trying to get rid of the form of government that we have and install something else. There's a reason that nobody in the Republican Party cares that the Republican-controlled Congress isn't making. Nobody knows what Donald Trump's policy is on Gaza, say. There's a reason nobody in the Republican Party is contesting what's going on with Joe Biden, because they have a different idea for what we should be doing on infrastructure. There's just no governing talk happening at all in the Republican Party. It's instead about this idea that America is a disaster. America's in decline. America's being laughed at. America is humiliated. And there must be extreme measures taken to fundamentally change the course of the country, or we're all going to die. Those are just two different things. And what that latter thing is, the reason you've been doing this series on autocracy is not the project of a governing party. It's a project of a party that is trying to get rid of the form of government that we have and install something else. There's a reason that nobody in the Republican Party cares that the Republican.
Yep, there's a reason. What is that reason? What is that reason?
Mainstream media is reporting that Ukrainian soldiers are telling them they are FUCKED because of this guy coming in. He is now saying that Ukraine is changing its strategy. Breaking news. It is now only interested in holding the line. So, Scott, help us make sense of this situation, these contending but interrelated developments.
Well, first of all, let's talk about Zaluzhny. He's a popular general, popular amongst the Ukrainian forces and popular amongst the West. He was the face of Ukraine at the Ramstein contact group in Germany, where Ukraine would meet with NATO, European allies, and convince them to basically turn over $150+ billion worth of assistance, military assistance, equipment, training, money, etc. He was very good at what he did. He wasn't the battlefield commander. The battlefield commander was the commander of the ground forces. That was Syrskyi. So Zaluzhny's job was to create the conditions for a Ukrainian victory, to give Syrskyi the equipment, the manpower, etc., that he needed to prevail on the battlefield. Syrskyi has a mixed record. In 2014, he was the commander of should go to the way of Hitler's Nazi ideology, meaning it should be widely recognized as being evil in nature, destructive to European values, and shouldn't be allowed to exist on European soil. But this can only happen if Russia wins the war decisively, and Russia's on the path of accomplishing this. I mean, literally, this is the inevitable outcome, unless Putin suddenly has a stroke and decides to negotiate away. That's why Putin will never negotiate. That's why the Russians will never negotiate. Not the way the West or Zelensky wants, because Russia knows it has to have a decisive victory. Russia knows the following, that Crimea will never be secure as long as the Ukrainians control Odessa. And you can thank Great Britain for this. You can thank the British who went in and said it would be very clever for us to build these underwater drones to give the Ukrainians Storm Shadow missiles and to use Odessa as a launching pad to attack the Crimean Peninsula, to attack Feodosia, to attack Sevastopol.
Okay. So, here it is, Easter. Loves co-creation. And, it's very strange to see war and rumors of war and conflict in our own country and all of the rest. Right? Instead of people going, "Oh, happy days when Jesus walked." Well, when he walked, those were the days. Well, those days are still here. He's still around. He's still walking. If he wasn't, we'd be freaking toast, right? So, oh, there's Jamie. Hey, happy chocolate bunnies. Yeah, that was yesterday. We had the Easter egg hunt at the church yesterday, and I basically ate too much chocolate. I shat myself. Never good. Anyway, so watch what you're eating, kids. Who knows what's in that chocolate? Mostly laxatives. Kind of like all the cocaine that came into America in the 80s and 90s, and that's why Donnie shits himself. Right? He's so done so much of that. He's woo. And that's why we have two old farts as going at it again for president, because we're going to see, and this is a continuation, basically, from when you know George Bush was put into being president by the Supreme Court, right? And Al Gore was just made a green giant advertising ploy, turning into your dad. Am I? Yeah. You're going to end up like your parents, at least physically. I mean, I have all the problems my mother does. I have her eyes, I have her teeth. I wish I had my dad's teeth. He died at 98, never having a cavity and never brushing his teeth. Right. So it's basically irrelevant, you know, and it's just going to happen. So don't worry about it. Right. And the last few nights, I go to sleep going, okay, this could be the last one. See you soon, Dad. And then I kind of open up. Well, this morning I was woken up by a buddy who woke me up around 7 o'clock, and he brought me breakfast. It was like Easter breakfast. That was very nice of him, and I gave him an Easter hat. So anyway, then I went to church, and they were going on about God rising, and the guys couldn't believe it was God. I mean, he was just happened. Those morons just happened to hang with him for 3 years and watch him bring other people back from the dead. Lazarus, boy, he smelled. I mean, he was brought back so many times, parts were falling off him. But you know, we are where we are, and pretty much, gang, this is all a scripted story, right? A scripted story of Donnie versus Jojo the used car salesman. The scripted story of the two Vlads, stand-up comedian and the one who's um, upset about being short. They're both short. Uh, and, you know, uh, what I'm telling you guys is that forget about all this stuff. Look at your life, what's going on in your life, and see how and where God's unconditional fits into your life, right? And in every day, in every way, take the piece of the earth to make it stronger. So today I went up to the churches for Bible studies, and they all were going on about, you know, I say, guys, don't you realize that the morons who were with Christ, they weren't his real um, crew. His real crew were the girls, Mary Magdalene and the other Vestal virgins from the temple, because they were basically, not the Pharisees, not rabbis. They were priestesses. They were the high holies, the only ones God would talk to. In Exodus, when God said, describing to Moses how he wants his temple made, very, 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 very specific, right? This place for the high hip priests, and then the place for the priests and bureaucrats, and then the place for the average Jew to celebrate ceremony, and then there was the public area where everyone could come and celebrate the ceremony, right? So, and the priestesses, in God's, because Jesus wasn't Sonny Boy, he was God, God incarnate, what close, Elohim could get to, you know, being in a body was a burning bush when he talked to Moses, right? So anyway, I want you this week. So this whole past week was, the Passion Week, and people, have you ever seen Mel Brooks' Passion of the what's his name? And I said, no, no. But did you ever see Last Temptation of Christ? Oh, that's a sinful movie. Oh, it's about Jesus, but he's having sex in the first scene. I'm just like that. I mean, oh yeah, it was like he was yeah. It's so amazing how oh from caveman to hunter gatherer about 60,000 years, from hunter gatherer to farmer about 90,000 years, from hunter gatherer to industrialist about another 90,000 years, then from industrialist to electricity 10 years, electricity to nuclear power 15 years, from nuclear power to computers 6 years. So we are moving quickly, gang. And it's either that we just get smarter as we go along, or someone's helping us out. So which do you think it is, right? And there's a pretty interesting show. I don't know what platform it's on, but it's called Three Bodies, right? And so they won't let you see it, but you can go onto YouTube, and there's loads of channels that describe it to you really, thoroughly, so you don't really have to, right? It's like the Cliff Notes. That's YouTube Cliff Notes, right? And so, bottom line is, this week for me, I had, my health had little kerfuffles in the last 2 weeks. So this week they're gonna try to rejigger me, see how well that's done. And so, but I'm still here, and I'm here as long as God wants me here, helping you guys out and helping the people around me. So at church, they just went on and on about, and I just kept like going straight to the point. Forget all this stuff about the doubting Thomas and all that crap. A, who is there to take care of Jesus? The girls. You know, when the people, the males who were there guarding the gate, they ran away. You know, the girls went in, checked things out, and didn't run. They were screaming. And then the angel showed up. They just kind of were very respectful and went down on their knees. And the angel said, "Don't worry about it. He's arisen. That's what it is." And they knew that. They understood that. These were girls that were priestesses. They were Mary Magdalene's girls, right? Jesus' girls. But Jesus was up on the cross. Were the boys there? Oh no! Ooh, I'm scared. I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. It's like so we haven't changed a bit, right? So wake up every morning. Thank God that you are alive. That's what I do. Pray and basically the moron teaches a class, just pray, pray. And then when I say, let's pray for peace on earth, let's pray for everyone to go to heaven. And minister, well, no one can, unless you're, born again, like we tell you to be born again, you're not going to heaven. I said, oh, okay. Good luck with that. And, so all of them are especially, the Pharisees and the rabbis kind of get upset with me, kind of like, Jesus, when he rode into last Sunday, he rode into Jerusalem on an ass, and they had put down palm fronds, the original red carpet, and the Pharisees and the rabbis were going, "Yeah, this guy's going to be. We're going to make him a poster boy. He's going to be. We'll make more money, more money, more money, more money." So, you know, um, that's where we're at. Everyone is more money, more money, more money. So we are being pushed into we already live in an oligarchy. Go check out all of George Carlin's shows on HBO. It's on YouTube. You can go watch them all. And he stated straight up, we don't belong to the club. We are expendable, and they are going to expend us. Big deal. Look at all the wars around, right? And 2023, there were something like 80 conflicts that killed close to 18 million people and dislodged about 40 million people from their ancestral homes, and those were destroyed. Darfur, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia. I mean, that's just to name a few. And the Strip and Ukraine, and that's, again, there's 80 of them going on, right? You don't know any of them. You don't care as long as you get your latte with the half milk, half cream, half um, old lady jizz. You're fine, and this country. We already live in a police state. Get ready for martial law. I mean, we're already there. It's gonna just whee, right? So all of my folks, because I used to, do studies for everybody. This one friend of mine, he said, you better be safe. I said, what are you talking about? I got you to take care of me. You're in the loop, and just give me a job. Say me I'm your associate. It's not. Anyway, I've already worked for everybody. It's not like they're. And if they come and get me, so they come and get me. So if they throw me into, a concentration camp, won't be any worse than the 3 churches I go to, right? So that's the story, and I know I'm loved. I feel it every time you guys show up here. When more than two, are here in our name. So that's what it is. It's not. I mean, the Bible's a great book. I read it every day. I've got it underlined and circled, and it's a great. I mean, virtually all my stories I have basically ripped straight off from the Bible, right? And changed them a little bit, but they're there. So anybody wants to read them, get a hold of me. Dudewake42 at Gmail. Dudewake42 at Gmail, and it just hit 2424. And I guess you're all out there hopping like bunnies. So go have fun. Remember, take every day in every way and make it joyous, right? In love's co-creation, right? Stop doing stupid shit, And if you can't, well, that's okay. Everyone's going to heaven. When? That's a good question, but it's pretty much a done deal. Okay, so I have nothing else to say. I played you a few things from the usual suspects, and so I will say, okay, what time is it? Oh, it's 1:01. I love it when that does that. And I've got 58 seconds left, minutes of juice, or 58%. Talk to you later.